Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Cornerstone Life Class.
Hello, everybody.
This is our life class. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you've had a good day. I've been busy today. Busy. How you doing?
Thinking about the good times we've had every Christmas.
Yeah,
She's riding a train. She's got that.
yeah. But I want them to see my eyes. But although my eyes are really sleepy right
Hmm.
now. We've been going all day. Going and going and
You
going.
think so?
I have just kind of been busy. But I'm glad we're here with you tonight. Let's see who's here. Let me know. Please let me know if you're hearing us and seeing us clearly. I didn't sit down to do anything to the cameras until late, so let me know what you see, what you hear, and see who's here tonight. It's my sissy and my brother-in-law. Sister, your Christmas tree really looks pretty. Brother-in-law, you did a good job. You did a really good job.
Yeah, that was a pretty tree. It's a pretty tree. Laverne, good to see you. I think about you tonight.
Yeah. And there's Sandra
And
and
Sandra,
Pearl,
Miss Pearl Lee.
Linda Langdon in Washington State,
Langdon, yeah.
Norman Armstrong down
Norman,
there
we
in
need your
North
address
Corner,
so I can-
South Carolina.
Yeah, so I can send this hat to you and Gwen. I don't know why. Somehow or another, a misplaced order. They sent me an extra one today.
Yeah, they did. They
And
did.
I'd like to get it in this to you guys on. Adrian,
Forgive me if I look dirty because I've been busy all day working. And let's see what Sandra's saying. Really, she likes my hat.
okay.
And this is one of many you got from Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I got
And
some
that one you got.
today.
There's another one you had, wasn't it? Kind of like that other one.
Yeah, it's the one I had to trim some of the fur off of it. It's too much in my face.
Good afternoon, Adrienne.
Adrian Lee.
Mm-hmm. She likes the hats too.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me know, sweetie, that you can hear us. Thank you so much and see us. That's good. There's Dee Dee. Hey, Dee Dee. Hope you're doing well. You and George and the crew.
George.
John Greason's in the house.
John Motorcycle Greasy.
John Greason's in the house.
They call them motorcycles.
Motorscooters.
Motorcycles.
You know, I was thinking about, everybody talks about Christmas and the Christmas spirit and all of that.
Is that charged?
Yes, sir, it is. And the Christmas spirit, people talk about having the Christmas spirit. And, I was saying that I really didn't have a whole lot of that incentive or desire to do a lot of decorating like I normally do. I normally want to just do everything, like Chevy Chase almost. But anyway, this year I haven't bought into the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Will I put up a tree? Yes, I will. I got my stuff out today. But I realized that what a lot of people call the spirit of Christmas or the Christmas spirit is the elevated and heightened emotional state.
I don't know what it is today. I've felt like somebody was coming to see us, and I feel the presence of light beings all in the house today. I've been feeling that. And we just finished watching a movie called Christmas Train.
Yeah.
And it was a story about Glory Glover. What's his name?
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover set it up where he could make a movie out of the couples that needed to get together.
Yeah.
And it ended up as a movie and as a story to be written for a special thing at Christmas time.
Yeah.
But we are gathered together. We all gathered together tonight in this wonderful moment to see each other, to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And this is a special gift that God has given us, which is you guys, and vice versa back to you. We exchange gifts tonight with this holy, sacred moment of fellowship.
Yeah.
And it is once again that I would always say that if it hadn't been for the virus, and some people it may be sadness, and some it is. But it was because of that we are together tonight, outside of the brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Our ministry shut down, and the grace of the universe of God fixed it so we could meet all of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Some we knew and some we didn't know on the telephone. And
on the telephone or on here.
I keep saying telephone because I have been talking some on the telephone. But just to see you online tonight and to know that we have people like you guys that are very important in our hearts over the few months that we've been together, working up to this time at the final moment tonight. And there'll be some more before Christmas is here. I wish I could get all of you together and we could have a wonderful Christmas cantata.
You know, and going back to what I was about to say about the Christmas spirit, I realized that the Christmas spirit is not bright lights, tinsel, trees, shopping for gifts, parties. It's not all of that. We do those things, but that is not what the spirit of Christmas really is. The spirit of Christmas is when we take the time to remember that not everybody in the world right now is happy.
Yeah.
Not everybody in the world right now is able to go to a Christmas party or put up a Christmas tree. Some of them are sitting without their loved ones this year because of somebody that was lost. Or there are people who have been in wars. There's someone sitting who lost their home. They don't have a home. They don't have a job. Or there's so many things that we could stop and just look at and say that not everybody is happy at this time of year.
That's true.
So I'm sober. I'm very sober this year. Not buying into the fantasy. And you know, a lot of us get really upset or sad because we can't make the Christmas fantasy. Yeah. And so I think this is the first year I've been really sober. And yet,
she's been an alcoholic for a long time, and she finally took her last drink when she found out that she didn't have to have a drink.
Yeah.
But she was she was drunk on God. And she's been staggering ever since.
I've been staggering ever since. That's right. Hey,
so we're going to tie her down and rope her down and hold her tight because everything is working all right.
Yes. And Deb, hey Deb, I'm glad you're here.
Deb, good to see you, Miss Deb.
Let's do an affirmation meditation. Nothing really big tonight. Just something to get us into the frame of mind that we need to be in. And Deb likes our hats too. Everybody likes
the hat. Huh?
We've been wearing our hats all week.
I came out of Deb's shop, and a lady in her apartment there came out, and I think she said, Deb, you correct me on it. She said, Deb and I were standing out on the street when I getting ready to get in the Jeep to come home. And the lady said, well, Deb, I know you had Santa Claus with you today.
You know, you need to show them your
new toy.
It's not a toy.
Well, here, let them see this. You got it.
You're gonna have to move the chair and stand up.
I know. This is
wait a minute. I'm gonna use this other camera.
I was introduced to this to help me to walk straight.
Okay, I want you to get
this is my new therapy machine.
Stand up, let them see.
Yeah, can they see it?
Yeah, they can see it. You need to stand up, let them see how you do something.
Okay. Oh.
But this is I call it a contraption, but it's not a contraption.
I don't know why you would call it that.
It helps when you call it a toy. It's his upright walker.
Yeah.
So it helps him to stand straight
and
take the pressure off his back. So
when I'm in it, I don't have any pain at all.
Right. So we walk the block and walk back. So we walked about a block and a half.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah.
And it keeps me up straight. I'm hoping I won't use this thing not too much longer, but I'll use it as long as I can.
So yeah, he's doing pretty good with that.
It keeps me straight. So the doctor said, as with sciatic problems, that if I can keep the pain out of whack, or keep it hurting, that is a sign that the nerve in my back is healing. The pain is an indication of irritation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
aggravation.
Wow.
So
Well, yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad he's got it. It's a big contraption.
yeah, we've had 3 of them, and this is the only one that would work.
Yeah, tried the regular walkers, but he tended to bend over with it, and it left him with still some side.
When I'm sitting down, no pain. Laying down on that, it helps me to keep it. So, Deb, I don't know how I would fold this thing up and put it in the car when I come to see you at the body shop.
Well, then too, today he was craving some chocolate cakes that they have up here in the circle at Lowe's
with pecans on it.
Pecans, and so I told him, because I had been running around with packages and stuff and all of this, I said, I'm not getting out again. So he got out of the Jeep.
First time I've been walking to the store since I've had the surgery.
With his cane, because he didn't have a walker. With your cane, right?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, but you made it without a lot of pain.
Yeah.
To the store.
But when I got to across the intersection, people stopping. I'm not used to people stopping. I stopped for them. They don't stop for me, but they stopped.
Yeah, and then when he got in, of course, he could get one of the buggies to kind of hold on to.
That kept me going.
He made it out pretty good. He got his cake. Because I said I wasn't going to
I felt kind of bad, because I said Santa Claus ain't got no business with a cane walking. He eat candy cane, but he don't walk with a cane. So for the day, it's humbling, but at the same time, I do not desire to be in this thing.
Not permanently, of course.
But it does help.
Yes.
So we have to make room around in the house for it to get through, because I might get my sister-in-law to come over here and help show me how to drive this thing.
Baby girl's afraid of it, of course.
Yeah, baby girl run from it. She thinks a creature about
it's too big, and she just looks at it like it's a monster. Anyway, Pastor Norman said he understands exactly what I'm saying when I talk about being sober this year, not buying into the illusion and fantasy.
Okay.
Not buying into it. I realized after that, thinking about that and contemplating that a lot of the things we do in life, we do because we're fantasizing. And to be sober is to not be caught up in a fantasy, or not even trying to create a fantasy. Yeah. Brenda, I'm glad you're here, sweetheart. Thank you. She said 2 Santas. Okay. And of course, Sandra saying that's great, Pastor. That's great. Yeah. So, and they likening your contraption. Your contraption. Yeah. Brenda says awesome.
Yeah, Miss Sharon, I guess
she wants to pick hers too. Yeah, because Brenda uses a walker, I think. Yeah, she has some challenges, and
so she have. Brenda, you have one like this one.
And she says goodbye to nerve healing sent your way. She's sending that to you, honey.
Okay.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you so much.
And Sharon.
Hey, Sister Sharon.
Did she get a chance to see the machine?
I don't know. She may have. And then there's Linda saying, what are you saying, Linda? She said, I choose to ignore Christmas as we are conditioned to celebrate it. It probably comes from past years of working retail. That may be true. Now, I have to admit, I'm not going to ignore it. I do like the trees, and I do like the lights and all of that.
I don't know why I feel like my house is.
But this year, I feel like Christmas is not in my house. It's in me.
Yeah.
It's in my heart. Yeah. And I think Christmas is caring and sharing more than it is celebrating.
To us, it's I wish I could. This is the first Christmas that I've had where I had to go through something like this with surgery, but at the same time,
and like you said, it's very humbling.
Yeah, it is. But I have with me a person who is greatly appreciated at this Christmas time for us being together. 55 years, and we have had 54 years of ministry and all that.
55 years of ministry, 54 years of marriage. Yeah.
And I'm hoping. Let me say this to you: at the age of 76, there's a lot of our friends that were preacher friends are gone. We have a brother, Marvin Cremedy, his brother at 80.
Recently passed this week.
And I had a chance to pray with him or affirm the counsel of God with his brother. And I had a chance to talk to a lot of people who have loved ones. Troy Sims and his wife are not together. But yet I see the gracious grace of God that we are online together this Christmas. And I would like to take time on Christmas Day, if you guys want to join in, and let us personally wish at Christmas Day, if possible, every one of you a Merry Christmas.
And Christmas Eve falls on Sunday, so maybe we can do that on
Yeah, that's right. We could do that.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve. Wish every one of you, and if you can get everybody around the computer to hear us say Merry Christmas, and a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful continuation of Christmas all year long.
Jonathan, thank you, sweetheart. He says, "Love you guys," and we love you too, Jonathan. Thank you so much,
Jonathan,
for your
bring
support
good memories
and for
to us,
your
man.
for just receiving what we have to say and believing in what we have.
And
to
if
say.
you, Jonathan, if you see Robert Mann or you hear him, tell him we're thinking about him.
Well, Robert asked about you. He texted me last week and asked about
you.
So I have to text him and let him know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of wanting to do a Christmas thing at the Toys for Tot.
You need to play Santa?
Play the Santa Claus. I hadn't heard anything from Miss Tiffany about that. Last word I talked to her about it was, she said the lady may have somebody to fill in for me because they wasn't sure whether I'd be able to do it.
Well, I said I don't want to be Mrs. Claus.
Well, that's okay, but I would like it because I saw a little girl at the grocery store, and she was her mama was going through some things of books and papers at the deli, at the bakery, and I stopped and I complimented the mother about the little girl, about the way the little girl's hair was fixed so pretty, and the little girl looked at me and said, "Did like that, you know."
Well, you have that effect on people.
And I tapped the mama on the shoulder. I wanted to talk to her about the little girl.
That was last night. I went to Lowe's just to get him. What did I go to get you? Hamburgers, so I could fix him a hamburger.
Yeah, she did.
And while I was there were some teenage girls out front in front of the store for the Red Cross, where they ring the bell and all of that. And there was about 3 or 4 of them and an older lady, and they were just jumping up and down and saying Happy Merry Christmas and all of this stuff. So I went in the store and I came back. I stuck a couple of dollars down in that little thing, and then I said, "Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas."
You remember one?
And they just started jumping up and down. And
you know what I did one Christmas? They were doing that Christmas thing. I came out with this on like this. And I stopped and I just stopped and just stood beside them. Do you know people drove up in their cars and opened the door and was handing me money? Handing me money. I was just stopping and getting ready to cross the intersection with them. And then people thought I worked with the jingle bell crew right there in front of the store.
That's funny.
And they were just there were cars lined up handing money to me, and I just stuck it in the bag. It is the most amazing time.
Well, listen. Hey, Vincent Kelly, I'm glad you're here.
Good to see you, Vincent. Yeah.
Look, let's do our affirmation meditation. We've talked enough about Christmas stuff and our personal stuff.
I don't want to quit
personal encounters.
I
I know. Well, we love Christmas because Christmas, like I said, is in our hearts.
Yeah.
And our friend who's been working on our yard, Miss Jan, she was here again today.
Yeah, she was.
Working in the yard again.
And the nurse, we had a chance to hear her wish us Merry Christmas while we was walking on the street today.
So it's
some of the prettiest decorations in the houses on the street.
Yeah,
pretty.
they are. They really are. And this year I'm way behind. Behind. But it's because I've been working on my laundry room. So I've been really trying to get that finished. And I had dust everywhere yesterday. Yeah. Anyway, guys, enough about us. Let's go ahead and center ourselves in the goodness of God by being grateful. I want you to take a deep breath in if you can, and there's no distractions around you. And let's just do this. You can repeat it after me, or you can simply listen, whichever is easiest for you. We thank you, Lord. We thank you. I give thanks to thee, O God, for my existence. I give thanks to thee, O God, for your presence. And I give thanks to thee, O God, for this awareness, for the awareness of my existence. And I surrender the illusion of being a personal self. I give thanks to thee, O God. And so it is, and so it is. Welcome, Diane. Welcome, 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 welcome. What you got on your plate today? We've been listening to some good stuff today, too, haven't we?
Yep, sure have.
Mhm.
God's language is the word of God that we are made out of. We're going mystery, the mystical side of the eternal essence that if you check, if the story is correct in Genesis, there was no language anything like what we are now.
Mm-hmm.
There was no such thing as Israel being chosen people of God. There was no such thing as us having to get back to God in oneness because we were already inside of God.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it another way. We were Him and He was us. And what is so amazing about this is that after going through Christology, religiosity,
New words.
and religious territorialism, we have never left that state or that essence of being a Christ consciousness. When I look at this thing and I say these things over and over again, for years I've said this in a different way. I don't have to make excuses now for being, watch this now, don't have to make excuses now for being a sinner saved by grace ever again. God, that's a, oh, wait. I just saying these things never to be said again. I don't know when I have heard this statement. I'm saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, speaking in tongues as the Spirit of God give utterance. I am born again. I haven't used that statement and those words in years. I've been around some that have said it, and I just said, okay, but there's something beyond that you are. And because they minds are still set in that, I don't disturb them. Because being an non-disturbed self, I do not disturb anyone with anything other than observation, creation, manifestation, investigation, opportunities to express the infinite true identity of investing into the progression of the essence of no longer regression. I'm pushing these words out of me. I'm using my like the diaphragm to produce. I'm pushing these words out of me because one of the things I found out about spirit in the brick and mortar when I used to have long prayer lines, I found out how to use the muscle of the spirit to push words out that seem to be blocked in my inner self.
Yes, and I want to kind of explain what you mean when you say push, because you also had other ways of phrasing it. You would often say you would have to spend yourself.
Yes.
And the pushing that you're talking about is the the effort to find the emotion that the words can ride on.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Because spirit communicates by feeling and emotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you have to find that emotion that matches what you're trying to say. So it's not about being an eloquent speaker.
Mhm.
It's not about being an eloquent speaker, but it's about finding that emotion to ride on. And even when we had all of the musicians and everything,
Mhm.
we could find the musical notes that spirit would ride on.
You know,
Hey, Ollie. Hey, you and
Oliver J. Jr.
yeah.
and
Hope you
Miss
guys
Miss
are you back from
Oliver.
your cruise yet?
You know what? That muscle developed, and I picked it up in competitive on stage
Weightlifting.
weightlifting and bodybuilding on the stage and in the gym preparing for each contest, which was my life was during that time. I I was it was a way of it was a lifestyle of continually being that. I learned how to use air and oxygen to push out of me what was in my subconscious mind that would promote me to take an attitude of being a winner in that. And the last one of the contests that I had, I can look back and see now that I deliberately lost that contest. I went all the way to Cherokee, North Carolina Indian Reservation for one of my contests, and Jack King, my mentor, trained me. I hadn't trained for weeks, and he picked me up. He found me and picked me up and told me that he wanted me to go to a contest, and he took me, drove me and him, three of us, all the way to Cherokee, North Carolina. And I went all the way up there, and I met Larry Ford, who he would always be in second place in the 148-pound class. And I lost that contest and come all the way back. And Jack King, he was a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, I missed every lift. I gave the championship to Larry Ford, four-state championship. I gave it to him, and I looked over that, and I can see now where I wanted him to have it, and I didn't know with compassion during that time that I refused to push out of me the winner. I allowed the winner inside of me to not surface in order for the winner in him to. And I'm saying this to you because when somebody came down the aisle that had a condition or a problem, I can remember taking them by the hand, and before I touched them, I would push out of me the principle of death, burial, and resurrection.
And when you say push, you really allow your emotions to be a chariot.
I used them as a chariot. What do you call that word?
The Merkabah.
The Merkabah.
Yeah. A chariot for the release of your spirit.
Yeah.
And so, and it really it's finding the channel of your heart.
Yeah,
It's finding the channel of your heart.
I found when I was, and this is metaphorically speaking, when I was 148 pounds on that time, I could bench press twice. I could all my lift was twice my body weight. In that, I found out how to find the center of gravity in between my chest and where that bar would hit. And in the center of gravity, there was a force that was like hands.
And it's a spiritual force.
It is. That if you find that channel, I don't care what weight it is that you have.
Or what it is you're actually doing.
And I used to take a broomstick and lay down a light broomstick and practice finding that channel. So what I would do was move that stick back and forth until I hit the center.
And you only found the center by intuition.
That's right.
You can only find it by intuition.
Now, I found out that there's a part of me or you that medication and drugs pull up in you by taking those drugs to pull up out of your subconscious mind an
Yeah,
ability
yeah,
that's already there that you
yeah.
can pull up without any
Yeah.
drugs.
And actually, the drugs simply move that critical mind out of the way.
That's right.
That's what
That's right.
happens. Yes.
So when I was standing in front of people that either had some problem with the ears or whatever, back, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
things like what I'm dealing with now, I used that principle.
Mm-hmm.
And I also remembered Bruce Lee, and I found out that some of the things that he did
Mm-hmm.
had to do with the center energy centers
Now,
in the body.
I'm sure Vincent has experienced it with music.
Yeah.
Sure,
Musicians
I'm pretty
hit that all the
sure
time.
you've experienced finding
It's
that we call it being in the zone.
Yeah, the zone,
Yeah,
but
being in
we
the zone,
find it to be
but
the middle path.
it is, and it's an
The center.
intuitive, it's a place that you find intuitively, and it opens you up for
Yeah.
downloads.
Yeah. I
Downloads
wrote a
of-
book called The Secret Place.
Yeah.
I have the book here somewhere in boxes. It's packed up somewhere. And a guy that wrote the book for me, published it and everything.
Ghost wrote it.
Yeah.
He was a ghost
He
writer.
he didn't put the full impact of what I was seeing in the mystery side of The Secret Place, but he put in there religiously what he
tried to
felt that the
water it
church.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. I could take 130-pound dumbbells in each one of my hands and work out with it like it was 100 pounds
Mm-hmm.
or 25 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using what we're talking about tonight, the same principle that I use.
I do it when I'm doing things in the house.
Yeah.
Like I'm building a mud room in my closet,
And they
in the
always,
laundry room.
you guys have heard this saying, Arnold and Mr. Olympia. He said, no pain, no gain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I also found out that each muscle has got a brain in it.
Yeah. Now I have to say this:
Mhm.
since his back surgery, he's had to unlearn that philosophy
Yep.
because that was causing him to re-injure,
It
or
could cause you to
aggravate.
push on beyond the injury, but it could
Mhm.
also cause more injury.
It was aggravating the nerve instead of helping it to heal. So now the new mantra is
Mhm.
don't push past the pain.
That's right. Stay out of the pain zone. Now listen to
Stay out of
this.
the pain
Listen to
zone.
this. When I wanted to do something, I went to a men's service at church in Milwaukee, Tom Wilkie. And I asked everybody then, I said, I want everybody in this service that has anything to do with pain. I want you to come up. And here's what I told them.
Mhm.
I said, I'm going to get rid of it.
Mhm.
We're going to get rid of it.
And you had to know in yourself you could do that.
Yes. And in order to know that, I'm telling you, in order to know, it's not about faith, it's about facts. I had to know that there was a part of me that could actually do that.
And that part of you, I have to say, was found in the closet.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
where that one was found. That one that knew it could do
It's
it.
called Jesus on the inside, working to the outside. But that on the outside was already waiting for the
For
inside.
those of you who haven't heard about the closet before, we're not talking about him coming out of the closet like he was gay. We're talking about his prayer closet. He has a prayer closet that he goes into. So we're not talking about that kind of
I don't have any problem with them. They don't have any problem with me. I love them just like everybody else.
Yes,
Okay.
not a them. It's
But you were talking about the closet.
yes, the closet is where you found the one who knew it could do it.
I went into the closet, a secret place, long years ago when I was 4 years old. And in the closet, I didn't know that the closet would be a main thing for my life at this point.
Mm.
When I was in the fourth or fifth grade in school, I found the closet through a man that came to my house that said, and they said it in the moonshine house, you know, when you pray, you're supposed to go into your
So
closet.
you heard that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your Father that see in secret shall reward you openly. At the time, I didn't quite understand, but all I knew that when they said closet, I found one.
Literally, yes.
Yeah, a little
Yes,
closet.
literally.
And
And they probably never thought of it literally.
I found a closet.
And then after we married, I built your closet.
You made me a closet
Yeah.
upstairs where we stayed with your mom and dad.
In the attic.
Now, this,
And then
Mhm.
I made you one under the stairs.
yeah. And every house that we've had, the house has been deliberately designed.
With a closet,
With a closet.
centrally located in the house.
Now, let me share something with you that you may not have heard, and some of you, in the Bible, it makes a statement. Um, it makes a statement about the seeds of God being in the belly.
Yeah.
He that believeth in me, as the scripture said, out of his belly shall
Shall
flow
flow
rivers of living
rivers.
water. So when I was in room 108, 208 in Fort Payne, Alabama, my intention was to get up at 9 in the morning and pray in the spirit in tongues deliberately, not waiting for some emotional expression. I did it because, long story short, I found out the effects of it. So when I was walking around in the room, the Best Western Motel, I see it now, I decided to pray in tongues 6 hours a day.
And that's your prayer language that instigates and activates the prophetic mode in you.
Another way to say the prayer
Or
language is
opens you up to knowing and being able to hear and receive mysteries.
So what I did was I went into what is a paraphrase of baby cooing.
Yeah, it's the same principle.
I cooed.
There's another word they use for it. I think in some of the Buddhist camps, it's called toning.
Toning,
And
okay.
chanting.
And in music, Vincent, you guys out there, you'd understand song. I heard Tony Braxton on a special talk about how she could move her voice from her throat down to her stomach and move it around. So what I learned how to do is to practice moving the sound using my voice box with sound, cooing sound like baby, some with emotion, some not. So most of the time when I went in there, I had no emotion at all, dry as 2-day-old beer.
In other words, you would drag your mind in there.
I dragged
because it had no entertainment.
Yes. One of the things that the church has never found out.
Kathy said she bought that book, The Secret Place, that you wrote.
Oh, she did?
Now, he's not the best author or writer, but we put down in words what he had experienced. And
she got that book. Cassie got that book.
Well, several of them probably do. Yeah.
And I am the author and finisher of the book, like Jesus is the author and the finisher of all of us. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I did this, I knew that I had to, before every service I went to, I would spend 6 hours, nothing else. No reading, nothing, just that. Because I knew that what it would take in these services, in these places where I went, it would take the supernatural presence of God inside wherever.
Yes.
To do.
And an unshakable confidence.
Oh, what you talking about?
To get it done.
And it says, the mind is unfruitful. Your mind is very busy and it's very active from the ego sense. It's never ever stops talking.
It's constantly multitasking.
Oh, so what I finally learned how to do was drag this dragon into this closet.
Slay this dragon.
Yes.
Slay it.
So here's what I did. Here's what I saw. I saw Jesus in the Holy of Holies, the third compartment where nobody could get into except for through change of identity spirit. I saw Jesus, and it said at the cross, it said during the time he was on the cross, we were there too, Galatians 2:20 in the book. I saw the veil of the temple that was split from top to bottom during that time that he was on the cross. But I saw a dark being take a hook needle and try to sew the veil up
to prevent anyone
from entering in that Holy of Holies. So what I would do in the closet, I would go in there and drag that hook needle and bend it and break it, which was this. Now watch this. I saw Jesus coming through the streets of Jerusalem bearing the cross. And on that cross, I saw the ego and every dark thought idea that would interfere with us to stop us during that time. At the time, I didn't know anything about the ego or separation, but I saw God drag that dark, hellish insight of the mind to the cross like a wild cat. And I saw me going in the closet and going into that secret place, and the nails of that cat was pulled out in the floor, and he became clawless and toothless. Ego was a dark day with a headache, and I drug the teeth out of that rascal. And I went in and I did
I
what.
remember sometimes you come out of that closet looking like a drunk man. Like you've been wrestling somebody all night long.
Oh, what a time! What a time. Didn't want to go. So now, after being spontaneous with it, it created a path, a light path. Then I remember seeing
and a channel that you could never not access.
That's right.
You always have access to that channel.
That I was on is a place we used to go and play called the Red Hill down on Rundale. I went back to that time and I saw.
When we were kids.
Yeah, when we were kids.
Yeah.
And I saw a vessel with water in it pour water down in dry red dirt. And that water soaked up every bit of dirt and made a path down through it. I saw how to cut it deliberately. But in order to do this, as the living water that I was, in Fort Payne, Alabama, at that time, the Lord said, I don't want you to pray 6 hours. He said, I want you to listen to your inner voice. And every time you hear the syllables of cooing and sounds like music, Vincent, inside, he said, I want you to take each one of those syllables that you hear inside and say them verbally out of your mouth and let your ears hear it. And I began to use the concentrated, dedicated muscles in my solar plex area to line those sounds up. And sometimes I would do it like this. Ooh,
most of the time they were very deep.
And then sometimes, then I finally found out how to do it like this, real deep, use my vibrational frequencies down in my stomach. I would go, I'm doing it now. And then sometime I have to move it around. And if I got too loud with it, it would go back up to my head. I didn't want my mind to get in it. I'd go back down. Now, he said this to me. He said, there are seeds in your belly, which is the belly of a tree, the life force of your belly, the solar plex area, the ground and center, where the seed of birth is. And I would make sound and germinate. He said, every time I make those sounds like cooing like a baby, he said, it throws sunlight, the sun of righteousness, my true identity, sunlight on those seeds and germinate. I said, well, what's inside the seed? He said, when to, what to, how to, who to, and everywhere else that was connected to destiny and purpose.
Wisdom.
Wisdom
It was
in
wisdom.
your belly.
Yeah, that's what was in it.
Out of your belly shall flow wisdom.
Yes.
And the belly of this is the belly of your heart.
Yes. Now, with Vincent says, getting in sync with that frequency and vibration.
There you go.
That's exactly
I practiced that.
until it's muscle memory.
That's right.
Yes. Now, there's a scripture that you guys reminded me of that I know some of you who read your Bibles, you've heard it before. This is in Romans 8, where it says in the 26th verse, likewise, the Spirit also helps our infirmity.
Inability. The definition of infirmity is an ability imposed upon us.
The inability to perform.
It is an inability or a limitation that has been imposed upon us unwillingly, that has been set to try to block you from getting from point A to point B, that you decided that there's something else beyond this block, because if it wasn't something else beyond this block, the block wouldn't be there.
Yes. So it says, likewise, the Spirit, capital S, also helps our infirmities.
Helps our inability.
For we know not what we should pray for as we ought. So that means our mind, as you said, was unfruitful. It doesn't know what to pray because it doesn't have the whole picture. It doesn't have all of the ins and outs of what's going on. So it doesn't know how to pray. But the Spirit, capital S again, itself makes intercession for us with groaning. So when that happens, it's a oneness happening, because it is the Spirit of God groaning as you groan. When you go back in the 11th chapter of John in the Bible, and it talks about Lazarus, Jesus' friend, who died before he could get to him, and Mary and Martha, his sisters, said that if he had been there, he would not have died.
It said that in there that Jesus, in order to get Lazarus out of the grave, he groaned him. He cooed him. He groaned in the Spirit. He said he groaned. And another word for groan is grunt. Yes. Now listen. It also says at the end of this, he says, for next intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. In other words, it's not words. Inarticulate words. There are no words, but you can groan it. And so here he says in the 27th verse, he that searcheth the heart. Okay. So we were talking a moment ago about finding that spot, that sweet spot. And says you search the hearts, knows what is the mind of the Spirit. So it's finding that place in yourself, like you said, because he makes intercession for the saints according to the will of God. So that in itself is that pretty much that whole technique is what that's. Well, you take Laverne and Vincent and some of the others that's been around us for years. We used to teach this for years, what you're talking about now. And I used to have sessions on it in New Jersey, up there when I used to hold revival at Laverne's uncle's church up there. And we go into we call it turning over the stones in the creek. But I think we understand it better now than we did even then. We do. We understand it better. By and by, when the morning comes, all the saints of God are what? Howly gathering on. Yeah. Tell the story of how we overcome. And we'll understand it better by and by. I'm presenting to you something of the mystical side that if you want to, you can use these tools. And it's not really a whole lot of effort involved, is it? No, it's effortless effort, but it's going to seem like it's a struggle when you first start. I never thought that I would be practicing something that would mean a great deal of edification. It's a struggle if you do it just as a practice. But if you take a burden that you have about any particular thing, something specific that is troubling you, and just sit there and while thinking of that, groan it out. There's no effort in that because it actually relieves the burden. You can get so strong in this muscle that is used to give birth to a child. Here's the mystery. The same muscles that Adam used to push Eve out of his self back in the garden, if the story is correct, I don't care if it is or not, it still means something. You can push and give birth. You are pregnant right now with all kinds of seeds in your belly, like the acorns that fall off of an oak tree. These acorns are these hickonuts that fall off the hickonut tree. We used to talk about it. We used to go to the school ground and get a rock and crack those hickonuts open and eat the nuts out of the nut. And we don't hear people talking about that much now. We don't hear children talking about it, but it's true. You can crack the shell of your ego and get that thing out of the way and pull up out of you the most amazing, miraculous utterances and words that will blow your monkey mind out of the tree. But it comes with a price. And the price is, are you willing to investigate into everything that you can find out about your true identity as oneness, beyond oneness into beingness, and beyond business, beingness into factuality? You can pull up what is called, Brother James Dixon used to talk about uh, finger hand insight. It's the
It's
memory,
what, it's
hand
what,
memory,
it's what
memory.
Vincent mentioned, muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle
Yeah.
memory. That's it. Muscle memory.
That's what it is.
We're talking about some good stuff here. We're just glazing it over right now. But there is a mystery behind this thing. The mystery of this thing is the hidden manner that you are. What manner of man or woman you are as a spirit being? Pull it up. Bring it out into the forefront of consciousness. Let it ride on your inner knowing of intuition and come out. Push through every crack. Do you know all the
And you're
hearts?
talking about release of the spirit, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Release of the spirit. Release your spirit in what you do and what you find yourself involved with. Release your spirit. And what we're learning is that the language of spirit, and we heard some of this today, but the language of spirit is not words.
No, it's not.
It's not words. It's a communication from heart to heart. It's a communication of deep feeling. And I'm referring to that because of what Linda said here. Linda says, she said, when I feel a moment of what I can call a sweet spot, she said, I feel my body wants to cry. I can't explain that sweet spot. And that's true. That's true. It's communication with feeling. And we use our dog as an example all the time. Baby girl doesn't understand language in per se. She doesn't understand English necessarily. If she had been in another country with a different language, she would have learned some words from them. So it's not so much the words that she learns, but she learns what certain sounds represent. Like if we say the word go, to her, that represents to her getting in the Jeep and riding.
That's what she wants, yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean she can define what the word go is.
Yeah, but she hears that word sound.
Exactly. So she knows, and so she communicates, but she doesn't communicate with the words. For instance, when she wants to ride, what she'll do, she'll go
saying that word.
When she goes when she goes down the hall toward the garage, she will bump the leash that we put on her that's hanging on the wall. She will bump it with her nose. That says, I'm ready to ride.
Yeah, she'll bump it.
So it's not so much words. God doesn't, and we said this on Sunday, God didn't use words to create this world.
Yeah.
There was no language. Who would he speak to? When
I'd be in the restroom and she want to find me, she'll come to the door and knock the door open.
Yeah, she will. If you don't have it shut,
she'll knock it open. She want to find you. And when she wants to find out what's going on, we got like this head over here. She came in here and smelled it. She is talking.
Anything with fur is to her,
look,
a child.
We can talk about this mystical stuff all night long. I spent days teaching this stuff in New Jersey.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Sometimes 3 days that I spent there, nothing but this kind of talk.
Yes. Now, Linda says maybe the sweet spot is a knowing.
It is.
Yes, it is. And Vincent says, oh, the language of spirit, the light exchange.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Now, there's a place in you. I heard a music, I heard song inside. I remember.
And the only reason we emphasize this particular spiritual discipline is because you need some way to move your critical mind out of the way. Because that thing will beat you down if you don't have some way of finding that mode that will move it aside. And so that's because I have to be honest with you. I'm not one that can just simply sit and make affirmations and that works for me. That doesn't work for me to just make affirmations.
To make confessions
with my mind. Mentation really drains me. I don't like it, and I don't like to use it. But there are things that you can do, spiritual disciplines, and this is just one way that you can do it.
So this is our experience, and this is our specialty. Some have called me in to teach in these areas, and some uh, don't understand the mystery, and we speak the mystery because it's not intended for some to understand. But you're ready to hear this, and I'm glad that you are available to listen to these things. So if you have any questions about these mysteries, I'd be glad to talk to you about it sometime. If you bring the question up, I'll talk to you about it as much as I can. But it is something you do, and you catch on to this, and it enlarges itself by doing it, and not by so much talking about it.
And I have to admit, because this has been your life for years.
It has. And it's never stopped.
You are not at the current moment praying 6 hours a day.
No, I don't have to.
And so, we're not talking about.
I found out how to hit the switch a lot simpler by over the years. Now I'm talking about years.
It's helped you to get to where you want to get to.
And I'm not trying to take since I had shoulder surgery, I can't pat myself on the back, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to tell you that there are some tools that you can use if you want to pull up inside of you the contracts that you have signed that are registry in the registry of deeds inside of you, that you brought with you into this dimension, even though it is a dream. You can use the dream in this story to activate you into the next step of the next phase of your contract. So
I hope you got something out of that tonight. And we look forward to talking to you again on Sunday morning. Well, no, Thursday. Thursday, if Pastor Norman is
12:30
available. You're going to be around here, Pastor Norman?
Pastor Norman, you got to send me the address now. Don't mess around with me. I'll throw a brick down.
He's got a hat he wants to send to.
And if you don't want it now, I'll keep it and give it to somebody else now. That's just all it is. How's your mama doing? Tell mama I said hello. Keep her nose clean.
Thursday, impromptu, you guys. Thursday, impromptu at 12:30 for those who can make it. And if you can't make it, it's all right. We'll see you again on Sunday at 10.
That's right.
And in the meantime, we thank you for your support. We thank you for praying with us and believing with us.
I grab all of you in my arms and I squeeze you with the love and the heart of Christ. Thank you so much. We love you. See you on the turnaround.
On the turnaround.
On the turnaround.